This podcast is part of the Treksphere Network.
To find more Star Trek-related content, visit Treksphere.com.
As you know, this is the measure of an episode, where it is our continuing mission to explore what makes a Star Trek episode a proper Star Trek episode, a genuine Star Trek episode, and not just porn without the sex scenes.
Oh, all right.
I'm Paul.
I'm Jonathan. And we do this using 3 criteria. 1, does saxophone play in the background? 2,
check.
Is it dimly lit with lots of close conversations? And
that's true. That's
3,
hard to see.
Is there a lot of no? So the 3 things we use to determine whether or not it's a Star Trek episode is there sci-fi directly related to the plot? 2, is that sci-fi presented in a unique or stereotype subverting way? And 3, is there a moral or ethical dilemma faced by any of the characters? I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Paul, and this week we watched Enterprise, Season 4, Episode 18 and 19, In a Mirror, Darkly, Parts 1 and 2. And the blurb for both of them, the Mirror Universe crew is at war. Mirror Universe, uppercase, by the way.
Right.
The Mirror Universe crew is at war with rebels of the Empire, uppercase, when they discover, lowercase, the Tholians, uppercase, have captured a vessel from the future. Number 2,
wait.
Capturing,
which words were uppercase and lowercase in the end there? A vessel from the future. Are those all lowercase?
After capturing a Constitution-class starship, Constitution-class, uppercase. I decide when I mention which one.
Class is uppercase?
No, but it's hyphenated, so it's included with the uppercase.
Okay.
From the future, the evil Mirror Universe, uppercase, Captain Archer, uppercase, attempts to become Emperor, uppercase. So this was really weird. This was so weird for me to watch. It was weird. I was captivated by how weird it was, but totally bored by the plot.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because, so they call it the Mirror Universe. I'm assuming, based on I don't know if this is a new concept or if the Mirror Universe has, in this show, presented it earlier. Was it presented earlier?
No. This is the first time this is the only time in Enterprise. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're serious. So the Mirror Universe makes it seem like, I thought initially that it was just a fun way to say a parallel universe where you have ostensibly the same people, but they have different personalities, they have different jobs, different life vectors, right?
Okay.
But then we got a little bit farther into it, and everybody's just evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I thought, well, that can't be a coincidence that when you just pick and choose another universe, that everyone's just the opposite of how they are in the regular world. That's like, like literally mirror in the sense that everything is flipped. And so, yes, that if you are a good person, in fact, in the Mirror Universe, you are a bad person.
Correct.
But that only holds true with their personalities. Because wouldn't it also be that in the mirror, if you're smart in a regular universe, that you're a dum-dum in the Mirror Universe? Or that if you're blonde in the regular universe, that you will be, in fact, a brunette in the Mirror Universe? Like, at what point does the flipping stop?
You're right. It stops at your personality.
Or just your morals. I guess your personality is different.
You become a lot more self-focused and antagonistic. Those are the 2 things.
And just sociopathic?
Yeah.
So I guess the Mirror Universe is where complex, well-crafted characters turn into variations on El Guapo. Because they just turn into, that's why I said porn. It just feels like this is all prelude to them getting it on. Not to mention the super crazy female outfits, where all the women just become sex pots. Because I guess the idea is that in the regular universe that there are these sort of conservative, tightly buttoned women.
Yeah, like how Hoshi is a wallflower in the Prime universe. Yeah,
and Vulcans are, I guess, they seem to have feelings, emotions in the Mirror Universe.
Yes, but conversely, their logic was supposed to be a lot more objective and cold and calculating, and not taking into consideration other people's feelings.
Well, let's get to the bottom of this right now. Did you think this was a genuine Star Trek episode?
No. Did you?
Me neither.
Okay.
I did get close.
Oh, okay.
Because the Thorians, I thought, were very interesting. And I thought that their technology was very interesting. It was very interesting that they were not humanoid, that they required to be in an environment that wasn't just everything was just copacetic in terms of all aliens being able to walk onto ship to ship and they can breathe the same air, the same temperature is fine. Like everything is totally compatible with everything else.
Right.
This not the case. I thought it was interesting. And their technology was really cool. There's that whole battle scene where the Thorians sort of trap another ship in this web that they create amongst all the other ships.
Yep.
And I feel like I'd never seen that before. And it could have been just another battle scene where they throw torpedoes at each other. But this was just another way of fighting in space because that you could really only do that in space.
Right.
So I felt like there was a little bit of science fiction that was presented in a unique and novel way. But it wasn't a lot of the episode. There were 2 episodes here, and most of it was just, the analog to someone showing up with a pizza to an unassuming female person who didn't order the pizza.
But she'd happily take the sausage.
Yeah, and it's like stopping that scenario that you're watching on the television right as he comes in the door, and then cutting to another scene.
Well, and then cutting to them laying on the bed afterward.
I mean, there definitely is sex in this, but just the way that they're the level that they clicked it up.
Yeah.
In terms of ridiculousness.
Yeah, none of these characters are played as well-rounded, with backgrounds and 3-dimensional characters. Like they are very much I'm angry and that's who I am.
They're cartoon characters.
Yeah. Speaking to the Tholians, they are from. So this episode is kind of an unofficial sequel to an original series episode.
I figured because there was that whole dinosaur guy that they punch.
Right.
They get into a fist fight with the dinosaur.
Yeah. The Gorn and the Tholians. Yeah. So this episode's kind of a sequel to all of those things. So the Tholians are from the episode The Tholian Web, where Kirk sees the USS Constitution disappear in the Tholian Web, and that's why it's here. And they say like it's actually from a different dimension and it's from the future. So that's
wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of the deep cut there. And then obviously the Gorn, and it's also
it is kind of a reference to the original series anyway, because they start wearing the original series because they take over the Defiant.
Right. Sorry, the Defiant. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they run out of clothes. Like it's laundry day, and they didn't bring any extra clothes with them, and they didn't think that they would be laid over in this universe, and so they start dressing in the futuristic.
They didn't explicitly
outfits.
State it, but it's because everybody was in their spacesuits and they didn't have anything other than the undergarments on in there.
Oh well, so I didn't catch that. That's
right.
A good explanation.
Yeah,
but the Dr. Phlox, he stays in his kind of full body
military, right? Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, he's not going to wear or he has some sort of weird anatomical problem,
right? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that part wasn't explained why he was able to stay in it and everybody else had to switch, but it would have been fun to see him in the blue medical outfit. Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of fun. I felt like if this had been a different episode, it would have been fun to see them do why do it this way? Okay, so I had a very hard time connecting to this episode, not necessarily because the plot was bad, although I think the plot was bad, but because these were characters who I knew were not the main characters.
Right.
And I just, why should I care about this? Especially because you knew, Enterprise writers, that this show was not going to come back at this point. You must have known when you were shooting this episode.
Actually, no. And I didn't think about that until just now, but they learned it after the writing of the second part of the episode. I don't know how soon after, but this episode was written and filmed before they knew that they were being canceled. They must have known something, though. Because I don't know. I think even the third and fourth season, they were always kind of under the threat of, people have stopped watching the show. Right. Maybe we got picked up, but the writing was kind of on the wall. It's not like it came out of nowhere. So we're canceled. What are you talking about? How dare you? Well, they must not have been surprised, at least, when they were canceled. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because Star Trek: The Next Generation didn't really pick up until the third season, and then DS9 and Voyager were riding on the coattails of Enterprise or Next Generation, and so all 3 of those series got 7 seasons. So maybe they felt being Star Trek, they had a little bit more security and they didn't think Paramount would just pull the plug. Or maybe they were worried it was going to happen, so they were planting more of these long-term stories to try and both entice viewers and get Paramount to be like, okay, well, yeah, we need another season to wrap these things up.
I was waiting for the actual crew of the Enterprise to converge on this mirror dimension.
Yeah, and they never did.
That they were going to and I thought, actually, a great way to make this, I think, to make this better is that one of the characters on the Mirror Universe crew actually happens to be someone from the original universe.
Right.
And they're, for some reason, they've been stranded in this Mirror Universe, or they have a mission to get technology or something like that to save somebody. And they have to get out. They have to find a way to manipulate the crew or to whatever, and that's the plot.
Right.
But it wasn't. It was this standalone bottle episode that was it must have been very expensive.
Right.
And because you have to do, what's his name? Scott Bakula's hair a different way. Very expensive.
Absolutely. Giving him a military cut. Wig.
And you have to cut the midriff out of all of the female costume.
Well, yeah, and then to sew it back in, like the tailoring is just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. Lots of money spent.
So costly. In a Mirror Costly is the name of the episode.
And so, interestingly enough, I don't know if you noticed, but the intro, what is
absolutely,
normally a Diane Warren song,
right,
is this crazy kind of thriller-esque, dark, orchestral thing that I think it was the same visuals.
Oh no, visuals were completely different too.
Were they different? I never watch it because I can't unless I turn the sound off. I can't watch it.
Yeah, no, it was because the opening theme or the opening montage is more about exploration and the journey of the ship's Enterprise. And this was much more militant, and it was showing stock footage of wars and
conquering, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely noticed the music. The music was cool. I actually thought they should have kept it. I thought my first thought was that, at some point in the 4th season, they switched over to this from the Diane Warren song, and then this was the actual intro to Enterprise. But then I listened to it, I was like, maybe not.
Right. This is a little too hard for, yeah.
Take a big turn. But then the show opens up with first contact footage.
Yes,
and
which was
it's
so
a little
cool.
kind of jarring. Yeah, it was jarring because I could tell it was from a movie and not from Enterprise, the TV show. Mm-hmm. And so it always kind of feels a little chintzy when you do that.
Right, a little like it's a little too high of a quality. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I would almost wish that they did something that was lesser quality but fit into the aesthetic of the show, rather than just start stealing shots from other Star Trek movies. I don't know, I know what it's supposed to do, and I understand that for this particular thing they had to do it because they wanted to show Zefram Cochrane, and they had all those assets from First Contact where they were showing the Vulcans coming down. And you're like, I've already seen this. Why are you showing this to me again? And then Cochrane shoots the guy in the chest with a shotgun.
And you're like,
that was very surprising. I was like, was not expecting that.
Right. I missed that in the movie.
I do not remember this. I need to rewatch First Contact immediately. And so that was kind of cool. Okay, so there's this conceit that now that we're at with this is that in this mirror universe, the humans essentially sucker punched the Vulcans.
Right.
And there was a cascade of events that led them to enslaving, quote unquote, the Vulcans.
Yep.
Which is highly unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a human perspective versus a Vulcan perspective. Like we quote unquote enslaved them, but really we strong-armed them.
Okay, but you're talking about a physically superior race with superior technology being pushed around by the ape human things that they just ran into. I just find it so implausible that it kind of ruins the whole idea that Vulcans are somehow subservient to humans now.
Well, so I think two parts of that could be that the Vulcans went into it with a level of trust, and we see repeatedly that humans have no qualms with lying. and going back on whatever they say they're going to do. So I could see the Vulcans kind of saying, why did you kill our officers, blah, blah, blah. And humans being like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't understand why you guys were here. That makes a lot more sense. Let's meet up. And then when they're there, they just shoot them all.
Although it does beg the question, were the Borg there 15 minutes before, like the whole plot line of First Contact. The Enterprise was there. The Enterprise was watching this. Holy shit. They were still on the planet because they were I think they were there to witness First Contact.
Right.
And so Picard watched this happen.
Yes, but remember, it's Mirror Picard.
Oh, right. Well, it's Mirror Picard. Well, I guess it's questionable if Mirror Picard would care about the Borg, or if maybe the Borg are all super nice guys, like from Canada, and
because they're the opposite.
Yeah.
I love it.
And like, yeah.
Maybe that was maybe it's the whole story reversed. Maybe the Borg were going back to try and provide technology to humans to make them understand that there is a bigger world and they need to not be so aggressive.
We learned something from the Borg.
Yeah.
My Borg grandfather once told me.
My Grand Borg.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, just a little side music nerd out here. So when they're showing, up until the shotgun comes out, it's all First Contact, right? Mm-hmm. You see Zephyr Cochrane and you see the original footage. And the music is the same notes, but they did it on the computer using MIDI.
Oh, okay.
Because it would have been too expensive to pay the original instrumentalists who played the score. So they had to redo it in the computer. It kind of sounds a little off, doesn't sound quite like a nice orchestra. It's actually all computer-generated instruments. And I thought that was very interesting that they were unwilling to pony up for the additional use of that on TV.
Right. Well, and I know that the two actors, Zephyr Cochrane and the Vulcan, they were happy to let the show use their likeness and use those scenes. And they took just a nominal amount of money to make it happen. But still, to get those two to redo the scene with the actors, using that footage probably cost so much that they were like, where else can we cut corners?
And it was kind of seamless because when he pulls out the shotgun, up until the point where he pulls out the shotgun, even when they cut to the cut in where you can't see Cochrane's face, I was still in it. I was still like, oh, what's going to happen?
Right.
I actually didn't remember what happened after he couldn't make the Vulcan sign with his hand.
Yeah.
So
well, I think
it was well done.
Right. Yeah. No, it definitely was. I remember that scene when it first aired. What's funny is I don't think I watched the second part because that was all new to me. I just enjoyed the setup and I didn't really remember the payoff. But yeah, so it was nice to watch an episode and be like, oh, I don't remember this.
You get to watch a little bit of the spoiler to First Contact in a random episode of Enterprise.
What's interesting too is because of how much time had passed, all of the original series sets had to be rebuilt again.
Yeah, they keep doing that for all these different Star Trek shows that come out.
Mm-hmm.
DS9. They didn't ever do it with Voyager, I don't think. But
no.
They did it with DS9, and they did it for Enterprise.
And they did it for Next Generation.
Did they?
Yeah, with Relics.
Oh, right. I thought a lot of that was computer generated, though.
I think
it was like shots or something.
Yeah, there were some shots that it might not have been ready in time or something, but no, they went out onto the bridge and it was recreated. Yeah,
it was cool. I mean, it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of made me wish that they spent a little bit more time there.
Yeah,
but I actually enjoyed that part. So there is a moment though when we're still being introduced to this mirror universe. Archer goes into the bridge and sees T'Pol lounging in the captain's chair with her midriff hanging out and everything. Mm-hmm. And it was at that moment that I was like, oh, this is like Galaxy Quest. This is like the historical documents from Galaxy Quest.
Right.
So the costume of Sigourney Weaver was busty.
Right.
And that was the idea,
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, this is all historical documents.
Well, and what's funny is the salute from the original series was fist to the shoulder and then arm straight out with the hand open, kind of, the German salute. And so in this episode, they did fist to the shoulder and then keeping the fist, putting the fist straight out, right?
Right.
In Galaxy Quest, well, no. So the writer of it said, do we have to add the arm swing? Can we just do the fist to the shoulder? And several of the writers were like, no, we can't do that because that is the salute from Galaxy Quest, and everybody's going to know that.
Never give up.
Yep, never surrender.
Yep. Galaxy Quest, I've heard it's sort of a saying that the best Star Trek movie is Wrath of Khan, and the second best Star Trek movie is Galaxy Quest.
Right. Yeah.
So what about this? So the plot line kind of doesn't matter here because it's irrelevant to anything because they don't include it and incorporate it into the regular plot line of the show, and so it just doesn't matter.
You're just saying in the big scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, like this plot line does not matter.
Right. And maybe it would have mattered later. Maybe they were setting something up. I don't know why you needed a two-parter for this.
Right.
Because there was just people that we don't know and don't care about in a universe we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole Emperor, but they still have the Federation. But when they get to the new universe, the regular universe, they say, what's this weird Federation of planets? That's weird. But they keep invoking the word Federation in the mirror universe, but they use the word Emperor and Empire.
Right.
So it was confusing to me. They should have chosen different words.
Yeah.
What about this? So, plotline aside, what if the ending of this was Empress Sato giving the Star Trek original series Star Trek intro monologue? But it's like sort of, a more concurrent type of monologue. The content is different.
Right.
And they spent the time to do the intro that way.
Like
that was the end of the episode.
Space, an untapped resource. These are the voyages of the warship Defiant.
Yeah, with her narrating.
Yeah. That would have been cool. That would have been fun.
Been cool.
Yeah. But they didn't do that. But what's interesting is Discovery kind of continues this foreshadowing or this prologue because the Emperor in Discovery is female, and there are extended canon, I think novels or comics, where they talk about Sato actually staying Empress and having clones can continue her legacy.
Colognes?
Yeah, like perfumes.
Men's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So I heard you right. Okay.
I mean, it was a very stagnant time in the Terran Empire.
Smelly one too, apparently.
Right. Well, fragrant.
Yeah. What I want to know is, does Discovery, they have a mirror universe. I know that much.
Yeah.
Is that mirror universe the same mirror universe as that and also the one in Deep Space Nine?
Yes. Yeah. Whenever they talk about mirror universe, it's the same mirror universe. And this is
everybody's evil.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be evil because there are already evil people in the normal universe. So they in turn have to be nice people in the mirror universe. So where are they?
I feel
in jail.
I feel like that's happened, but I could also be thinking of a parody of a mirror universe where the bad person, like I might be thinking of South Park where Cartman was nice.
I'm always skeptical when Cartman is nice.
But yeah, it's the sequence of events are that, well, T'Pol kind of alludes to what happens in DS9, where she says it may take centuries, but the humans will get their comeuppance. That's not the word that I'm looking for, but anyway, but she says something along those lines, like the humans will be defeated. And then in the original series, we see the mirror universe where they are evil and they're on a warship and all that kind of thing. And then Next Generation, nothing happens. In DS9, it shows that, yes, the Terran Empire has been defeated because whatever.
In DS9, did they ever finalize this whole mirror universe thing? Do they ever does it come to a close or have any kind of closure?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. Also, this whole idea that reign over the universe, or at least over the galaxy, is happening on just one ship between two ships, where everybody wants to be emperor, apparently, and you can become emperor just by killing some admiral. Said, well, I'm emperor now. And then Archer is emperor for a while, or wants to be emperor for a while, and then Sato kills Archer by poisoning him. It's starting to feel very Roman Romanesque to me, or Greek or something.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And so then she says, "No, now I'm empress." It's like, wait a minute, isn't there like billions, if not trillions, of people who are like also vying for the emperor position elsewhere,
vying to be king of the hill.
Just because you killed one dude doesn't mean that you're now like it doesn't work that way, right?
Right. Yeah. No, it's a good point. But also, she's got a ship that's several hundred years more advanced. So, as of right now, she has the biggest gun. So, yes, she gets to be empress. And apparently, she stayed long enough to keep that legacy going all the way to Emperor Jiju.
Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing that episode.
Well, it's in the first season of Discovery. So,
okay. Well,
whenever Discovery ends and we can add it to our catalog.
Is Discovery, does it take place after Enterprise?
It takes place after Enterprise and before the original series. Yeah, it takes place about 30 years before the original series.
It always feels so much more technologically advanced when I see it.
Well, yes.
But more advanced than
original series.
No, or Enterprise, or it's all way more slick. It doesn't feel as sort of, I don't know, I guess the same thing could be said about the J.J. Abrams movies, that those are way more slick than the show ever was.
Right, but that's an alternate timeline. And Discovery is...
But it's only recently alternate, though.
What do you mean?
It's only 50 years alternate, so, or not even. It's like 20 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like it hasn't been it didn't split off into being alternate until Kirk was born, which is what he was 20 in the movie or something.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Anyway, did you like these episodes?
I did. Yeah. No, I thought they were great episodes, but they're not proper Star Trek, and B, I don't like them because they're kind of like Voyager insofar as nothing they do matters.
Absolutely no. It produces no movement on the Star Trek universe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, knowing the Star Trek universe, both of these episodes are fun for the nods and the call outs and and all that sort of thing. But yeah, just as far as the lore, it does nothing, and all the characters are morally bankrupt anyway, so there are no moral or ethical dilemmas.
Yeah, none of them. Right?
Yeah.
None of them have any kind of, well, maybe this is an a-hole thing to do.
Right. One of the things that I did like was the scar that Skip has is a reference to Captain Pike's face in the episode that the Glass Menagerie, I think its name is.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's kind of covered his eye just a little bit, and yeah,
it's pretty creepy.
Right?
Pretty creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everybody got to kind of dial in their... I mean, it felt like Captain Proton to me. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, but what's interesting is it looked like everybody got to have fun with it, but nobody really enjoyed filming the episode. Like, John Billingsley said that it was just kind of pandering, which I completely agree. And
pandering to who?
To the Star Trek fans. So they just threw in a Mirror Universe episode to throw in a Mirror Universe episode.
Yeah. You're right. It didn't integrate at all to why. I mean, I was waiting for that to happen the whole time. So when is it going to show up?
So do you remember My So-Called Life?
Just the name of the show. I have no idea what the show is about.
Okay, so it was a high school drama show starring Claire Danes, and I have a friend who has a bootleg DVD of the first season, and on the back of it, it says, if it had gone on to another season, it could have gone on for many more seasons. And so I kind of feel like that was the point of this. Like, there was so many things that every character was left ambiguous. Like, was Archer killed or was he just drugged? Did she have any use for him later? So all the characters were left ambiguously. Their fate was left ambiguous because if they had more seasons, they wanted to go back to this and they wanted to bring it back more into the Prime universe, but they got canceled. And so it was just, it looks like because it was so close to the end of the series that it was just like, oh, we never did a Mirror Universe episode. Here you go, guys. Here's a Mirror Universe episode.
I don't know. It feels like a very convenient and possibly too lenient explanation for something like this where, well, if we just had more time, we could have shown you how brilliant this episode was. But since we got canceled, we didn't.
Oh, it's very
it's
very lost.
Very convenient.
Like, yeah.
A show that had carte blanche, do whatever they wanted.
Yep. They were a moneymaker for ABC, and they specifically said, we're going to cut our time short so we can tell the story we want to tell. And then there was a writer's strike, and they said, oh, sorry, we ran out of time.
If only they had spent the time that they spent orchestrating a writer's strike on writing the show could have been really good.
Right. We do have a podcast that we want to start doing called Lost Cause. Should I say that?
Yeah. Put it out there.
Yeah, but I don't want to say this title.
Just cut it out.
Yeah, okay. Called Boop Boop.
Great title.
We do have a podcast that we want to do that's based around Lost, but right now our time is devoted to this podcast. If you like this podcast and you would like to hear us cover more topics beyond Star Trek, let us know, and you can definitely encourage that by joining our Patreon. We haven't done this in a really long time, so I'm going to go ahead and keep going. Where we do talk about things off topic. We have a couple deleted scenes from the episodes, and we are happy to respond to any questions that you guys might have. And if you join our Patreon, you can actually request us to analyze or review Star Trek episodes, including the new ones of Picard, Discovery, Lower Decks, and Strange New Worlds.
And I think we have consensus that our perks are some of the most generous perks on Patreon.
Yeah, everybody that we've talked to have said that.
It is kind of uncanny that we're able to keep this afloat with the perks that we're providing to our patrons.
Yeah. And leave a comment. We love our listeners, all half dozen of you, and we would love to hear what you think of the show. But we'd love to hear more about what you think of the episodes. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you have specific things that you enjoy that you want to hear more of? Have we done things that bother you that you don't want to hear anymore? Like this?
But no matter whether or not you like them, leave a 5-star review. That's all we ask.
5-star review, they suck.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter what you say, and we will certainly take the content under consideration. But make sure it's not 1, not 2, but 5. I don't know if you can actually leave reviews. I guess you can on Spotify. So everywhere that you get podcasts, leave a review. And places you don't get the podcast, too. Just go in there, too, and leave a review.
So what episode is this? This is episode 85? 83. Okay. Getting 3s and 5s mixed up all over the place.
They look alike.
But yeah, like I said, overall, like I really enjoyed these episodes. But they're not proper Star Trek.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, they could have been. It would have been easy to make them that way, but they didn't.
But they didn't do that.
The idea that they wanted them to be self-contained is so antithetical even to the format of the latter episodes and latter seasons of Enterprise, which were so serialized and all interconnected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to just have these 2 episodes suddenly appear and just be standalone was, I would imagine, very jarring, especially after the second part. Like, having the first part be standalone in this serial season probably was really exciting to find out how it was going to tie back in to the prime timeline. And then to watch the second season and just find it not, or the second episode, and just find it not tied in at all was probably very disappointing and maybe upsetting.
Yeah, I can only guess that they had plans to incorporate this somehow in season 5. And maybe this was going to be the arc of season 5 because this aired at the latter part of season 4.
Right, that would have been cool.
And
yeah,
so but then it didn't, and maybe they decided to reshuffle. Maybe it was supposed to be like a cliffhanger. Like I could see it being a cliffhanger, and then season 5, episode 1 was part 2. But then they reshuffled them because that wasn't happening.
Right,
perhaps.
Right,
because that would have been weird to end the show on this weird what happened.
Although having said that, it would have been better than These Are the Voyages.
Yeah, I am curious. I mean, it makes me really want to go watch the last episode of the last season of Enterprise.
Of the last series, yeah.
Of the last series, yeah.
Of the last series before the hiatus started, and then we had our resurrection.
All right, should we see what we're watching next?
Yeah.
Season 3, Episode 9, Defiant, when Commander William Riker from the Enterprise visits the station. An intrigued Kira takes him on a tour, particularly of the Defiant.
Do you remember this episode?
Only just barely.
Oh, okay.
Just barely. I just know that he was on the show.
Okay.
And that's it. It.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then...
Do you know this?
I do.
Okay.
Well, and it's it's very funny because clearly the person who wrote the blurb watched the cold open and had no idea what the big reveal was.
Or that Commander Riker is not on the show, actually.
Like you think he just thinks that Commander William
It's
Riker.
like, oh, from the interview. Yeah.
Oh,
He's back.
I see. Like, so they say, right? So they don't mention the Enterprise in this, and he's like, okay, whoever that is, Commander William Riker. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I guess he's
Oh no,
back.
no, it does say from the Enterprise.
It does, but it doesn't say the Enterprise was a different or that he's on Next Gen and not on this show.
Right. But let's go watch it.
Indeed. I've been Paul.
I've been Jonathan,
And this has been The Measure of an Episode.
but you already knew that.